Some serious tracks about loss and letting go as well.
Yeah, it's part of the whole. Yeah, it sounds so cliche, but it's part of the whole journey of the story. And I think every good story should have like multiple sort of facets, and it's like it's hopeful, and then right where you think everything is perfect, then shit hits the fan and it goes all down from there. And I think that exactly uh, lends itself so well for great music, because for the hopeful stuff you can just have very uplifting stuff, but then you can put a lot more aggression or sadness into the part where the story takes a dive. Drums a weapon. It has that aggression.
That is actually my favorite song
Okay.
on the album. I think this is a great trance album, and again, like your dad said, this is trance like it used to be. I
Right.
think,
Yeah, yeah.
but this track is an outstanding thing. I think
Yeah,
it's a weird one as well.
it's a weird one. But it's very dirty, grimy, and
Yeah.
it does the job. And I've been actually playing it also as part of my Gorilla show over the last year.
You did.
So I had it already, and I've seen some people asking like, Ferry, what's this whole thing with you got all these Guriella titles that are beautiful, it means all heaven, and then you have a track like Drum as a Weapon in there. Why? You'll find out. So
But you did this on purpose. I mean, during the Guerrilla tour that you did again, and the Guerrilla music that you did again, which is basically also very successful.
yeah.
You hinted towards this album. So why did you make the combination?
It's like foreshadowing what's to come, without people realizing. And I love the little twists and plots where people eventually, when they hear it and they see the title, it's like that. Aha, I get it. That's cool. Like, for example, the latest Guriella, which is included on the album, is called Venera, which means Venus in Russian. But Venus, as well as V, it's the same thing. But I call it V's theme. And there was no hint whatsoever from anywhere about
Really?
what V is and was. Not up till this point. So people were like, why is it called V's theme? Who's V? And that's, for me, that's a great kicker. I just get a lot of, a kick out of that.
Did you see it? And you must have seen some reactions you got on social media. There were people who are like really, because you mean the drum beat is what basically starts off the whole story.
Yeah.
The people in Earth hear this drum beat, they start asking themselves what it is,
Yeah.
and this is what you asked your fans as well. And a lot of people are actually like totally breaking down the beats and
Amazing.
tracks until
Yeah.
like this is 16 beats per second with this procession, and there were fans who went really into deep.
Absolutely. Like super music lingo, like three chords
Yeah.
here and this and this and this. And I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Just get involved.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. Hey, the main character, one of the main characters, Lucas, he's basically a nerd.
Yeah.
Though he's the hero, he's not very much understood by his schoolmates or the school or his parents.
Yeah.
He's likable, but he's not really popular.
Yeah, I think that creates a certain liking for that person, because when someone is already successful and who has everything, why should he have more? So it's like it's the character that you wish the best for, and that's what Lucas. That's who Lucas is, and
Why his name?
Um,
George Lucas?
no, I don't think so. I don't think there was any. I should actually ask David. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think there was any link to George Lucas or anything, but just yeah.
Hey, now you're going to tour this album. And we had discussions at the office like, okay, I want to see a Ferry Corsten show, and I'm going to this album. And this is not just a show. This is like going to Pink Floyd, The Wall. It's no, you're laughing, but this is an experience. It's not just going out having shitloads of fun per se, because it is a heavy trip.
Yeah. Well, there's a good sort of thing that I've been I've been thinking about. It's still it's a club show still. So am I gonna have it narrated?
Yeah. Will you?
No, it's not like It's not like the narrator will be there, and because when you listen to the album, there will be quiet parts where you just hear the narrative and maybe some background noises. But the music stops at certain points.
Yeah.
I don't think that really works well for a club show. So it's definitely that there in certain parts there's a bit of the narrative, but like what you just said, not everyone will probably like a sci-fi movie. Not everyone wants to hear a narrative over music. They want to hear music. So when you go to a DJ show, that's still ultimately what it is. You want to hear the music. And also when let's say I strip away the narrative at certain points and then bring it back later, you may miss the whole point about who Lucas is and V, right? So I mean, there are small bits and pieces of the narrative there. Other than that, it's just the artwork that Oscar did for the show. We've used that to build a visual show around it, and that's basically what it is.
That's my next question, the visual show, because there are shitloads of options now to do. This is such a rich concept.
Yeah.
What will you do?
Like I said, it's we've taken the Oscar designs and worked those into show visuals. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's definitely going to be a dance show, and with all the blueprint tracks, and well, most of them. I still have a lot of tracks that I still have to make a new edit for, But
so you're still working on it, basically.
In that sense, I'm still working on it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's all fresh, super fresh.
Wow. Are you excited? Because I mean, this must have been, probably one of the toughest productions you ever did.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough one in the sense of every aspect, is once you do this, that needs to answer to that, So
If you fuck up one, the whole concept sucks.
yeah. So music-wise, of course, it had to be
Perfect.
in a way. Yeah, put my A game on. Then the story, then all these little elements that made this what it is right now. It was a lot of thinking and a lot of trial and error as well. I think as it goes really. So. But the most fun, honestly, do I now after this want to go back to just making an album, which is just a collection of music and put it out and here's my album, guys? I don't know. I think I just like this so much now because it's just so intense, right?
It's interesting because we had this discussion before in Brazil, where we were discussing so many DJ and producers are preferring to release tracks, just single tracks, and maybe EPs if you're lucky. I think, as a music fan, I want to have as much music as possible from the artists that I like.
Yeah.
And I think that creating an album is an entire creative process and art form in itself.
Yeah. It is.
So, probably, if I would be a musician, I would love to grind my teeth on an album concept.
Yeah, it's really you live with the whole thing, It's not like I pump out a bunch of tracks and it's out and I don't care anymore. It's just it becomes such a part of yourself in a way. It starts controlling your flow, your daily life. When I went out running in the morning, all I thought about was, okay, I'm going to do this today because that needs to be done. So that's all you think about, really. And yeah, it consumes you in a way, in a good way. And that's really what I love about what I loved about doing this album, because ultimately everything I do, everything you see here is still a passion, and when you can really answer to that passion in such a way, it's amazing. And that's why I said earlier, will I now go back to just putting a collection of music together and call that an album? I don't know. That's going to be really hard,
Will this actually, and this is, it's impossible because you have too many tracks. I mean, you have 17 tracks, but it would be great to have it on vinyl.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually thinking about that, because this is such a thing that is, even if you don't have a vinyl player, but just to have it, and with the artwork that Oscar did, it needs to be on vinyl. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Great, yeah.
Hey, another obvious question that a lot of people will, of course, think. Next step for you will be to make music for feature films.
Yeah, I would love that. I really would like that. Because that's basically what I've been doing now. I made my own film, and created the music for it in a way. but yeah, if you really want to play with those emotions and just let it all out and just go for it, go crazy, then
So are you working on that? Because I mean, you have your management in LA. You know these people now. I mean, this music doesn't go down unnoticed.
no, it's not. There's not something happening right now. I mean, keeping my fingers crossed anytime, of course. But yeah, I mean, am I happy that I did this in the sense that I had another interview asking me a question saying, are you hoping to motivate other producers, DJs, whoever, to do something like this? So, honestly, yeah, it would be great, and not just for my own ego or so, but really just like you said, you're a music lover and you like to listen to and experience the whole thing rather than just hearing a track.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this would turn into the next trend, by all means, yeah.
Actually thinking about this, the vibe I get from this album is basically the vibe that a lot of good dance festivals want to produce. It's like even Tomorrowland or the big ones in Russia or in the States now. They try to create a certain vibe, a certain feel, and then you have like 100 DJs, producers who all play different stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the only part missing on the festival, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you look at like the big festivals, they all have a theme nowadays. And it's almost a story and a movie in its own right. And yeah, so I think it really answers pretty well to that as well, to that goal.
I hope the music will evolve that way, basically.
Yeah, right now, it's I went into this thing with just saying, okay, I want to make this. I want to be happy at the end of the roads and looking back and think like, yes, this is great, and I'm happy. I love listening to it.
Were there moments that you were thinking like, what the hell did I start?
Yeah, there were moments, yeah, where you have all these different tracks and you need to work somehow together, and yeah, especially when you have these days where you have no inspiration, when all these when everything comes at you and think like, oh, you're a total loss. It's you're done, it's finished. That's like a year of your time spent, and but then you have the next day where things are a lot more optimistic, and you listen again and try to sort of like erase that earlier feel, and you think like, no, it is actually really cool.